Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to bring to you the findings on how best to help you increase your chances of having a competitive finish at the upcoming Ironman competition, taking a look at the performance patterns, the correlations, and also the variables that are going to be most impactful in your training time. Let's start off with a quick introduction of exactly what the Ironman is. Of course, Ironman is a triathlon which requires you to swim 3.8 kilometers, bike for 180 kilometers, and run for 42.2 kilometers. This is going to take you all over Hawaii and through the bay. Current status is going to play into this because where we start from. Unfortunately, right now you are in a low exercise state. Indulge a bit too much in the things that you really enjoy. However, you are motivated to be competitive in this endeavor, so therefore that is going to help us make sure that you are doing the best, showing that you can. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of training involved. It's going to require you to change your habits. Most importantly, you're going to need to eat right because that's the fuel for your body. You need to exercise every single day, not just the different events you're going to be doing, but just for overall physical fitness and endurance, good breathing capabilities, lung capacity, so on and so forth. You need to practice the individual events themselves, get used to those, and then of course repeat it all again and again until it becomes second nature and muscle memory for you. There are many different factors that go into training for something like the Ironman. Some of these different variables have some correlations to your finishing times. What I noticed was that the biking and running times were correlated to better finishing ranks, which obviously makes sense, but they were not as impactful in the way of swimming. So therefore, the biking and the running are the bigger areas of focus. Low transition times. All the top competitors had low transition times to help make sure that their time wasn't being wasted moving from swimming to biking and then biking to running. So these correlated to a better finishing rank. These variables that we're going to kind of go over and just show the details on is the swim rank, the bike rank, the run rank, transition one time, and then of course transition two time. We're going to start our analysis with the 2015 championship. Looking back at places 1 through 10, this here just kind of gives you an idea of the differences that can be made between, say, the swimming placement and the run placement. For instance, the competitor who finished in place number 10 was actually a little over 100th in finishing swimming, but was able to make up all that time and distance to end up in finishing in 10th place. And the part that I thought was really interesting in this is looking at the individual who finished in first place actually did not finish in first in either the running or the swimming. Actually, sorry, they did place first in swimming, but did not place first in running. So therefore, there was a little bit of a disconnect there, but they were able to make up some ground in other areas. Um, Further analysis had us take a look at some of the different probabilities of, you know, the fastest swim time being the winner, the fastest biking time being the winner, the fastest run time being the winner. That's probabilities one, probability two, and probability three, respectively. And then, of course, the combined probabilities one and two. The first one had to do with the first person, out of the water winning the race. Um, and then the combined probability two had to do with the first person off of the bike winning the race. And if you see each one of these broken down here for you, it shows you the different probabilities based on the rank. Now, I only looked at rank number one because you're trying to go for the best possible finish, and so therefore we need to finish as high as we can. The likelihood of being the person who finished the had the fastest swim and being the winner was actually 0.02%. Um, in all the analysis that I did, I noticed that not a single one of the times was the fastest swimmer was the one who ended up winning the race overall. Again, with the biking and the running times, 0.04%, 0.06%, respectively, And then, of course, being the first out of the water or the first off the bike, 18 tenths of a percent is the only the likelihood of either of those folks being the winner of the race. So it really is indicative of being an overall performance uh, that you're looking for. The way I found these probabilities was pretty straightforward. I looked at the total number of competitors, looked at the likelihood of any one of those competitors um, finishing in the top spot, and then applied that to they were finishing out of the water first, or sorry, out of the swimming first, or off of the bike first. So essentially, it was just a simple division of the um, the likelihood of a single competitor of any status finishing as the number one competitor, and this was for each year. So we're going to look at each of these graphs for 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. They're going to be very similar across the board. Also took a look at the averages of the run place, bike place, and swim place for positions 1 through 10. If you notice, the top finisher finished second in the swimming, seventh in running, and seventh in biking. However, they won overall. Looking at 2016, it's very similar, findings. Did see a little bit less of a spread, a little bit higher on some of the, competitors. Those who finished, seventh and eighth were a little bit higher on the swim place. For the probabilities, they actually broke down very similarly. The combined probabilities were a little bit different, is all at 0.19%. And then, of course, also the 2016 averages. Again, you can see some outliers in the seventh and eighth finishers, but for overall, they were, finished in the top, the top third, top 30 places where if they wanted to place in the top 10. Looked at the same thing again for 2017. Again, very similar results. Also with the probabilities, a little bit of variability there, but mostly the same. And also the averages again, a couple outliers on the swimming. And again, we really start to see the swimming here kind of take off as being not near as relevant to the overall finishing as the biking or the running. Moving on to 2018. And probabilities on 2018, again, identical to 2017. This could also be an indication of the level of competitor that we're starting to see being more consistent. Again, swim time is becoming less and less relevant in the overall competition, and the biking and the run times really where people are picking up their places. Again, with 2019, it was interesting to see that all these results were very similar in their breakdown. A little bit of variability, but overall very similar to each other. And again, with the averages, this was an interesting one because 2019, the number one place finisher finished second in the swimming, then first in both biking and running. And then, the only outlier really was the person who finished ninth and finished 187th in swimming. So another thing to look at, we have to look at equipment. Proper equipment is key. You're going to need a smooth wetsuit, lightweight bike and aerodynamic helmet, and supportive easy access running shoes to help keep those transition times down. And this is important because overall, you're going to need to change your habits, train for an all-around competition, because it's not a matter of just finishing one piece strong, but you're going to need to focus mostly on biking and running and keep your transition times nice and low. Thank you, and have a good day.